So as the Blue Jays playoff run continues, Angus Reid has been checking on their popularity, finding that 53% of Torontonians are watching the Jays closely, with 49% of Canadians saying the Jays are Canada's team.
But how is the Jays' success impacting the sport across the country? Joining us live now for his insights is Adam Morisette from Baseball Canada. Adam, glad you're joining us this morning to get into this because, we've seen the success of, the Toronto Raptors and Basketball Canada recently just based on the success of, Canadian teams, Canadian players getting drafted high. Do you expect a similar kind of impact in baseball? Have you seen this cycle before when the Jays have had success that it translated sort of onto the field of baseball?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, thanks so much for having me. It's very exciting. I've been with Baseball Canada for 15 years, and certainly back to the 2015 and 2016 teams, we certainly did notice an increase in baseball, increase in registration, and even looking back further, kind of when I was growing up, certainly when the Blue Jays were winning in 92 and 93, baseball was extremely popular, and that translated into registrations across the country. This is really good for the sport. Whenever baseball is the topic of conversation, as you mentioned, with some of those numbers for Canadians, it translates certainly on the grassroots and amateur side. So we're big fans too, and it's really exciting for baseball and baseball in Canada what the Blue Jays are doing right now.
Yeah, look, we've seen it in basketball with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, being MVP and top of his game. Can you highlight some Canadian baseball players? I know there are a few out there in the MLB that are really doing some great stuff. So maybe just to give us some kind of insight into how many great baseball players the nation is producing.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I think we had 22 or 23 Canadian-born players that appeared in the major leagues this year, which is pretty close to all-time high numbers, which is really exciting. I mean, it's kind of mixed emotions because you look on the Seattle side and you've got Josh Naylor, who's represented Canada. He's been part of our junior national team, and of course his brother Bo in Cleveland. You've also got Matt Brash, who's with the Mariners too in their bullpen. But yeah, it's a really exciting time for Canadian baseball players. You look at the Major League Baseball draft that happens in July every year, and there's first round picks coming out regularly. Before, it used to be a pretty rare thing, but that's a credit to what's happening with baseball at the local level, at the grassroots, and certainly up to the provincial and national team programs. Baseball is an option for kids. It's not just a sport that's played south of the border. So it's pretty exciting seeing all of these Canadians have a lot of success at the highest level of the game.
Yeah, and we've seen Naylor's family and friends, in the stands at Rogers Centre, of course, cheering him on. Of course, we'd love to see him in a Jays uniform with the talent he's got. But Adam, I'm curious about whether Baseball Canada will kind of look to capitalize on this kind of momentum here. The Jays really weren't expected to be doing this well this season. Maybe last season they were, but it's happening this season. And if you're thinking about it, how do you try to capitalize on momentum and moments like this?
Yeah, thinking about it for sure. We're always thinking about ways that we can increase kind of the popularity of the sport. And we're actually really fortunate to work with the Blue Jays. They're strong partners of ours on a lot of grassroots initiatives across the country. We've got some terrific programming that our provincial partners and our local partners kind of execute on each year. And it's girls that are playing baseball now. It's kids in not kind of non-traditional baseball communities that the sport is reaching. So it's just kind of continuing on that path, working with our partners, working with the Blue Jays to get baseball played in as many communities as possible. So it's really, really exciting. And we're just hopeful that the Jays can continue going because we're huge fans too, and it's really great for the sport.
Yeah, great for the sport, great for the nation, and just really unifying our country right now, something we all need. Okay, Adam Morisette from Baseball Canada, thank you so much for your time. Go Jays, go.
Thank you, Adam.